Welcome back to the Maven Show. This is your host Rohit. Today we have Brad, the managing partner of Sugar House Investments and broker of real estate securities. Thank you, Brad, for getting into the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Rohit. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. I think you've been into real estate for long and you've been into doing commercial properties and so on. And, been into this for probably like more than 5, 10 years now. So would you just like to give a quick intro about yourself, how you got started with the real estate and in commercial properties and so on?
Okay. Yeah, actually, I've been in the real estate space for just over 20 years now. So it's been a good run with plenty of lessons learned, and we've different angles taken. But yeah, I went to college for a finance degree with the idea of getting into large commercial, actually international commercial real estate. That was that was the plan. That's what I did my internship in college for. Um, by the time I graduated college, decided to go a different path. But all along the way, my path has included real estate. So, my first real estate transaction was buying my own house with private seller financing. And that opened my eyes to the possibilities. And I ended up, buying a good handful of rentals. The company I was with, we did some development. We built a hotel. We built a retail store, an art gallery, and we started doing these long distance vacation rentals long before there was an Airbnb platform. And so, yeah, just learned a lot along the way. The last 5 years, I've been working exclusively in the commercial space as a licensed broker of real estate securities, meaning I help raise capital for the large commercial syndications. So for the most part, I've gotten out of the active fix and flipping, being a landlord, that kind of stuff that we did for a good while. I still have a handful of my own rental properties, but really all of my intention has been focused on helping other people invest in as limited partners in commercial deals. And that's where I invest my dollars as well.
Awesome. So just tell couple of first question, let's say someone is getting started into the commercial properties. So what's the major steps to raise capital for the commercial properties and to build it up?
Yeah, and it depends on what I use the distinguisher of large commercial because anything, there are some smaller commercial deals where some people will be able to finance that themselves. But when we're talking about large commercial, it's millions and millions of dollars. It generally takes a syndication, which is just a fancy word for a group of investors coming together. And in that scenario, it's a team sport. You have to have a pretty good, established, experienced team to pull that all together. Somebody that's focused on the due diligence and the commercial property brokers relationships. Then you have to have somebody that's focused on the asset management, and you have to have somebody that's focused on the investor relationships and raising capital. And that's really where we help our operator partners be able to secure more deals because we can help them raise more money for those deals. But yeah, that's generally the biggest challenge as folks are looking, how do they get into the large commercial space? It's where the dollar's coming from. And so that's, you have to figure that out, whether that's going to be your own network. You can go onto some type of investing platform or work with capital raising groups like mine, for example.
Got it. Awesome. So, I think many of the listeners can be having one question, in the business world, or probably not all of them, but some of them, so a difference between the passive and active income, active and passive. And it's real, being as an entrepreneur, most of us and most of people used to majorly focus on the passive income, not on the active, to be honest. So how you would like to describe both and which is the best?
Yeah. So I've most of that 20 years I've been in the space, I'd say 15 of it was active, where, we were out there searching for our own rental properties and fix and flip opportunities. Fix and flipping, 100% active, right? That's a day in, day out. You have to deal with the property, the contractors, getting that thing sold. Investing in rental properties, we could call, people like to call that one passive. I'd call it maybe semi-passive, because even if you do have a good property manager, the bigger issues still float up to your attention and take your brain space and have to be dealt with. Where then investing in large commercial deals where you simply place money on the table, that's 100% passive. Yeah, and once you get to know the operator team and you look at the deal, you spend a couple hours on that, on looking at each deal. All you do is place your money in, and that's it. For me at this point, I'd say I'm all in for passive. I've done the active, and I don't begrudge it. And I cheer people on who want to go that route. We need them, and that's what helped me establish my war chest. For me to have the dollars to be able to invest passively, because it does require dollars to be a passive investor. But now at this point in my life, I'm in my 40s, a couple of young kids. I don't want to be chasing contractors. I don't want to be picking out paint colors and carpet and tile, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a stage of life question. I think it's of how many dollars do you have to invest or not question, and personality. Some people just want that hustle of chasing down deals. I'm not saying I'm never going to do that again. But it's especially right now, this stage of life with young kids, I really like the passive role.
Yeah. I think passive is becoming major, like for young kids as well. Even after 20s, like many of the guys focused on passive, there are a bunch of options to have passive, not just in real estate, obviously, but in other things as well.
For sure. Yep. Everybody's chasing that, but whether, content creators make a website, the affiliate marketing, make some YouTube videos, post it, and hopefully, live off of a trail of commissions or whatever. Yeah. Everybody's chasing it.
Yeah. Everyone, awesome. So you talk about like investing into real estate. So what's the best step, let's say someone is getting into investing into real estate. So what's the best step? You used to say like invest in real estate with the retirement account. So how you would like to speak about that, using the retirement account?
Yeah. So when somebody's ready to invest in a passive opportunity, we've had our investors will come either with their own personal dollars and they're just going to invest in their personal name. Some of them create a business entity like an LLC. A lot of the investors we work with are small business owners, and they've got, for example, a solo 401k. They can use those dollars to invest with. And we do have almost half of our investors use IRA money. So they've taken their retirement accounts, put it with what's called a self-directing custodian, and then they direct that custodian to take those dollars and invest it in this deal that we've presented with them. So everybody, there's pros and cons to all of these things, all these routes. With the IRA path, a lot of people have significant dollars in those accounts, and they're just kind of, they're doing the typical stocks and mutual fund investing, and maybe not aware that they can use those dollars for private real estate. You have to move those dollars over to a self-directing custodian. Those custodians charge more money. When you want to place those dollars, you have to get the custodian involved to sign the paperwork and do everything. So there are a few more steps, but it can open up a lot of dollars for that are to be making those available for these private real estate investments that maybe people aren't aware of. So yeah, that's really popular. My wife and I have quite a bit of money. I'd say all of our retirement account money is actually invested in private real estate syndications, and it's done really well for us. Some of the tax advantages of real estate are lost in those scenarios, but we don't have to worry about the tax effects of those deals that through our retirement accounts either. So yeah, certainly an avenue that if people have dollars in those retirement accounts, something to consider for sure.
Got it. Cool. So retirement account is the preference, like priority, to be honest.
I would say it's not a priority. In fact, I mean, one or two of our operator partners have stopped accepting IRA money simply because they got tired of dealing with the custodians who slow things down and require a bunch of paperwork. On the operator side, they just want, they would love it if it was just an individual investing in his or her private name, sends the money in and done. And that's who the distribution checks are going to go out to. Entities, whether it's an LLC, but especially an IRA account, require more paperwork, more steps. And so it's not necessarily preferred on the operator side, but it's maybe preferred on the investor side, just because that's where they have a lot of their net worth sitting. And so the fact that they can use those dollars to invest in these syndications is what we try to make available to them.
Got it. Cool. Awesome. So I just have my last question, this is the big one, probably. We must have heard a lot about this from our audience as well, like in the suggestion boxes and so on. So tell us how to save taxes legally and investing in real estate. I think real estate is big in the industry, and we can invest legally by saving taxes into that. So what's this process and how do you want to speak about that?
Yeah. So they're really, for whatever reason, when we're talking about, American investors, American taxpayers, the U.S. Congress has made real estate highly incented to invest in. There are a lot of tax benefits that come from owning real estate. One of the big ones that we talk about is accelerated depreciation, meaning the opportunity to depreciate or devalue certain assets, certain elements of the asset that we own. And in doing so, that allows us to, at the end of the year, to send the tax statements to the investors showing a passive loss because of the depreciation. All along the way, we've been getting monthly distributions from the cash flow, but then you get this tax statement at the end of the year showing this loss that can be used to offset other passive gains. And so, if that one has some caveats to it. If you don't have passive gains, then that doesn't do you a whole lot of good. But even if you don't, the fact that you're not showing that active income or even passive income is not going to impact that your annual tax burden or increase that annual tax burden. But then what happens at the end of the road when this project is done, we sell it, you would generally expect to have some long-term capital gains tax exposure. But most of our operators will do a 1031 with these deals, where it allows the investors who have enjoyed the ride, they like the operator, they like the process, to simply move those dollars into that next deal with the same operator and kick the can down the road. And so you can defer those taxes for a number of years. And, these deals are 3 to 4 to 5 year deals. And if you continue to defer the taxes, you can get that into get yourself into a really favorable tax treatment spot into retirement, where your active income is down. And so it allows a lot of opportunities to decrease or defer those tax burdens.
Gotcha. Awesome. Now, I think that's the great thing, so just tell me one last thing, just last quick steps for anyone who is getting started with the real estate, who just want to get into real estate, probably as a young guy, 20, early 20s and so on, even like me. Or what are the next steps? Even they have the small budget to go into the real estate, even they have a big budget to go into the real estate, or just a medium, not more than 500K, starting from 10K. So what do you want to suggest to them?
Yeah, starting with a small budget, young individual, you got to hustle, right? You have to hustle. It's finding partners, it's finding a mentor, it's knocking the doors. You get a list of you get a copy of the foreclosure list, you go knock on those doors and see if those people want to sell their house. You get that under contract, you find a way to close it. Maybe that takes a money partner, but it's hustle. It's finding those people who are, and I'd say the best way to make that hustle work is the mentors and partners. For an individual with money, it's how do you want to spend your time? Do you want to chase down those deals? Do you want to do that kind of hustle? Or to the point where I've gotten to is invest my money with people who have the systems in place, who are experts at what they do, and take advantage of their expertise. And so then it's a matter of how do you find those experts? The very first real estate syndication that I invested in before I started getting into the role I'm in now, I didn't know how to find operators. Somebody came to me with a deal. They had invested in a deal and said, "Hey, you might want to check this one out." I looked at it, thought, "Hey, my friend's in it. I'll look at it. I don't really know how to evaluate this too well, but sounds good." And it wasn't good. That deal ended up going poorly. But I learned a ton from that. Now I know how to vet these operators and find those experts. That's who we partner with. And so, that's where I'd say if somebody has those dollars and they're looking to invest, learn how to do that due diligence. And that's what we offer to our investors, is to point out who are the good operators, what makes one good versus not, what makes a deal good versus not. So again, it comes down to learning from the people who have taken those steps before you.
Awesome. That's cool. Got it. Good to know.
I think so.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's the great thing, like, and your hustle is there. If someone don't have money enough, it has
You have
only
to hustle.
time. So
Yeah.
someone, so they just have time. So they just have to use the time wisely. That's all. That's the thing.
Right. Yep. Use that time wisely.
Yeah.
And you can shorten that learning curve significantly if you'll partner with people who are doing what you want to do, or who have been there and can guide and mentor.
It's obviously like exact same, like surround with people who are doing better than you, and see them, be with them, learn from them, make mistakes, then go ahead. That's all.
Right.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yep. Thanks, Brad. Thank you so much for getting into the show and sharing these insights regarding the commercial properties and raising capital and saving taxes legally, obviously, and investing. So yeah, thank you so much for having in.
Hey, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. I appreciate the good questions. And yeah, as you can tell, I love talking about this stuff. So I'm always happy to connect with your listeners and answer these questions and dive into more detail anytime. But again, thanks for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thanks.